Hello everybody, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Got the patch notes here for you from the latest update while we wait for the servers to come back on. I will link in the description if you want to go over these yourself. If not, I will read them to you as well. There is a lot to go over. Let's get into it here. Okay, so the update version sizes here, PC is 42 gigs and PlayStation is 15 gigs. It's just crazy to see the difference in sizes here. I think this has to do with the Steam store, if I'm not mistaken. But let's get into this. The help menu. Help menu now lists the correct subcategory for foundations. Made improvements to the help menu for information for free camera mode, attaching wires, item lock, and death. Fixed an issue with the help menu which listed the incorrect controller button for the save blueprint. Items. The atomic roller should now be interactable. Remove the blood punch bowl from being buildable in shelters to be consistent with other dispenser type items. Also, the blue Nuka-Cola vending machine has been removed from shelters as well. Remove the Crania candy bowl from being buildable in shelters to be consistent as well. Atomic shop icon no longer appears on the Sheep Squatch poster. Fix an issue which could cause players to be unable to enter their power armor suit until they dropped fusion cores in their inventory. Fix an issue where the Ultrasight stool and Ultrasight throne were no longer buildable under certain conditions. Tiki camp kit should now display as a full camp kit. Combat. Enemies will now display the correct icon for bleeding beneath their HP bar. Nuke silo mainframe cores should now be damaged by explosions. Fix an issue causing Scorch Beast to focus on their audio scream attack. Sheep shard poison damage will now correctly scale with the player's level. Definitely interesting to see that power armor one. I've had that happen before, so hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. On to events here. Mischief Night, the Light the Mischief Pyre objective is now translated in all language. Mothman Equinox fixed a formatting issue with all 6 Mothman Equinox event lore books. Jailbreak should now qualify for the repeatable public event challenge. Glowing skeleton costume and glowing skeleton hood can now be sold to NPCs. The freezing touch mutation now deals cryo damage. Decryption removed the armor penetration and increased damage effects. Enemies are now higher levels than you would normally encounter. The Big Bloom Beelzebub's health and damage have been increased. The Big Bloom increased the performance with the flowering respawning. Overgrown now have a chance to drop Carnal Weepers, Rad Lilies, and Crystal Cups, and also lowered the active landmine count. Gameplay. Becoming immune to fall damage while not in a power armor now always prevents the stagger animation. All cryo damage now has a unified effect that slows the target and drains action points. This effect scales up the more cryo damage the target takes and recovers over time. The target isn't taking cryo damage. Cryo resistances now also plays a role in how quickly the status effect builds up and recovers. Fixed a bug where applying slow effects to a target could make them move very fast. Rad damage is no longer recovered to a minimum value when loading into a world. Fix an issue where damaging auras would now deal any damage in certain cases. Fix an issue where players could be stuck in a state where their AP constantly drains. I really feel like I noticed that one myself, so hopefully that's a little bit fixed now. We'll have to see when we get on the game here. On to perks. Cryo damage should now correctly trigger the Deal Sealer perk. What's Rad perk now only can be equipped by humans. Fix an issue on the special page which displayed 0 unused point. Oh, that's awesome. That's fixed. That's a little 0 over your perk points there. Special Loadout Manager should now perform better when scrolling. Blood Sacrifice AP should no longer continue to drain HP while outside of VATS. The cloaked icon should now display the Escape Artist and Chameleon. Twisted Muscle penalties to VATS accuracy and Cone of Fire now reduced by the Class Freak perk card, sorry. 4-Leaf Clover now grants the correct amount of crit meter for the multiple projectile weapons. Fast Fighter now grants 50% of your movement speed above 100%. Life Giver fixed an issue where players could die when unequipping this perk. Fixed an issue where players' HP would be incorrect and overlapping the RADS portion of the HP bar when the perk card was not equipped. I've definitely noticed this myself. Night Eyes reduced cost to 1 point. Number Cruncher now applies to the weapon dot effects. Deal Sealer Cryo Slow now counts as an impairment for this perk. Poison Aura effects now correctly inflict poison impairment. United Ordeal now shows in the Pip-Boy effects tab when active. Rad Sponge, Thirst and Hunger should no longer be restored at different rates. Increase the rate of which Thirst and Hunger are restored. Good with Salt, moved from luck to intelligence. Curator, moved from luck to intelligence. Tightly wound, animation speed should no longer reset when entering or exiting a power armor. Bloody Mess, fixed an issue where this would proc with bleeding targets. Miscellaneous, the combat knife should now be properly translated in all languages. Rustic Glory flag should now be properly translated in all languages. Players should no longer experience visual clipping when equipping a hazmat suit as a ghoul wearing a disguise. Adding the following mission items to vendors. Samuel now has the White Springs Robo Butler Collectron, Mortimer now has the Soul Soup Server, and Giuseppe now has the Cosmic Knife. Unarmed Bobblehead now displays proper name. Players should now be able to complete the Possum Challenge Leather Worker challenge by building a bear skin rug. Shiny Stealth Armor should no longer stretch oddly at the neck of male characters. Corncob Fast Snack Masks can now be placed in a chest and pillar display cases. Cranberries should no longer spawn as blast berries. Big earned characters no longer have their ears clipped through, or big-eared characters no longer have their ears clipped through the Brotherhood of Steel hood apparel. Improved textures to the Drill Fist Ultra Sight bits. Light Machine Gun Prime 556 and 45 plans no longer keep dropping from the Scorch Beast Queen once learned. Improved VFX to better match damage inflicted by explosions. Fixed a rare crash on the loading screen. Silver extractors should no longer produce silver scrap instead of silver ore. Fixed missing armor names in the how to learn text. Mutation, Bird Bones now displays its fall damage reduction in the Pip-Boy. Fixed a bug where herbivore and carnivore mutations could be acquired at the same time. If you currently have both mutations, they will be removed from your character. Quest, reading the Sacred Tomes of the Mothman now correctly progresses the hidden quest. So yes, keep this in mind if you were using herbivore and carnivore. I had an instance where I had both of them for some reason, so it's nice to see that fixed, to be honest. I don't know if you could use it for an advantage. Weapons, mods, damage from explosive launchers with the 2-shot legendary mod is no longer duplicated. US Covert Ops magazines now states its correct effect bonus damage against humans. Cremator now deals the same damage after changing the color of the chemical fuel. Alien Blaster Cryo mod now receives benefits from explosive legendary mods. The Bowie Knife Pioneer Scout paint now appears with all appearance mods. Certain weapons should no longer increase in size as you scroll through their mods. Ceremonial Mace Skin for the Lead Pipe Revolutionary Sword and Tire Iron now use the correct appearance mod slots and can be removed after their application. Remove debug text from Chameleon and Stealth Boy mods used in Power Armor. The Cryo mod for the Compound Bow now receives contextual ammo, arrows. Bleed damage has been added to the Cosmic Knife. The Gatling Plasma Stinging Core Receptacle now correctly notes as piercing. Iceman's 4-star legendary mod effects have been replaced with 20% extra cryo damage. Pipe Wrench no longer incorrectly displays 2 cosmic mod slots. Weapons will no longer experience a delay in firing after being reloaded when using effects that increase reload speed. The Light Machine Gun full stock mod no longer adds the rifle tag to the weapon. The Stalker's mod can now be attached to melee weapons. The Miyama's mod has been reworked to always deal poison damage to nearby targets, similar to the Plague Walker mutation. So these are definitely some interesting changes there. Now we are on to the Miscellaneous. 556 Ultra Sight ammo will now unlock as expected for the LMG. Improve the cryo effects for multiple weapons. Players should no longer be able to continue to use auto melee weapons after running out of AP. Improve the ability to target bee swarms and vats. Nuka-Cola ammo is now an explosive ammo type. UI, some HUD elements should no longer be hidden while the player is aiming with the scope. Players should no longer see a blank confirmation window when choosing a loadout upon exiting Vault 76. Damage over time will no longer display as floating numbers when setting is disabled. Floating damage numbers now correctly dynamically adjust. Players should no longer be flagged AFK incorrectly. I'm not sure what that one means. The confirmation window should now display correctly when trying to delete a custom world. Radiation gained by consuming irradiated food should now be displayed correctly. Some UI elements should no longer disappear when a player disconnects from controller. Health and stamina bars should no longer become misaligned. Rebinding and important in the settings control menu should now rebind correctly. Fishing inputs are no longer influenced by remapping controls in the option menu. United Ordeal will now correctly show as an active effect. Fixed a display issue where Number Cruncher would increase the Pip-Boy damage values more than expected. Fixed an issue where the dot floating numbers would sometimes display twice. VATS accuracy is now displayed with the percentage sign and mod properties. VATS accuracy is now correctly displayed with the percentage sign and mod properties. Not sure exactly what that means. Camps, workshop menu, overriding blueprint that causes a duplicate no longer results in crashing. Items should no longer erroneously show the atomic item on Xbox. Items placed on the first floor should no longer float. When inside a shelter, the blueprinted subcategory no longer available in build mode. Build menu should no longer scroll faster as you change scroll directions. The Fisherman's Cooking Station, Fish Display Plaque, and all 3 fishing plushies are now visible in the workshop menu once learned. The Decontamination Shower should no longer show as unlearned for players that have already learned it. Camp item names should no longer be cut off when selecting them in the build menu. The Blueprint Save pop-up on the workshop menu now supports mouse input. The Options button is again displayed when using the Replace option. Last selected variant is now tracked separately between replace and build mode in the workshop menu. Blueprinting now reserves items. A scroll bar has been added when players save their blueprints. Added additional messaging when a lock is applied or removed from a workshop item. The atomic symbol should now correctly update for purchased wallpapers. Players should no longer become stuck moving an object when editing furniture items. And workshop background should no longer be visible. And players should not get kicked back to the subcategory menu when selecting variants while building. Oh my god, this is a lot to go through. I really have to just give this time to settle, to really give you opinion on it, get on the game and let you know as well too. Looking forward to seeing you guys later. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of these changes. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a pleasant evening.